Listen, a temple guardian runs their finger along a worn Khmer inscription, then quietly says, "This stone remembers our ancestors." That line holds a whole civilization in 3 words. Today we begin there, grounded, human, real, before we chase a viral claim that tries to rewrite who built Angkor.
Good morning. I'm Nisa. We'll bring you an evidence-first investigation, where the online claim started, how it spread, and how the physical record, the stones themselves, tell a different story.
I'm Norn. On this episode of NSP Plus TV, we'll pair Khmer archaeology with digital forensics. We promise one thing up front: respect for the people and the evidence. We will not accuse whole groups. We will examine claims, sources, and material facts. The facts are clear, and the evidence is undeniable.
Here's the roadmap. First, we trace the post that started this. Then we show how to archive and verify it. After that, Norn walks through the archaeological record, inscriptions, construction phases, UNESCO documentation, and we speak with 2 experts, a Khmer archaeologist and a media-archivist. Finally, we give you a practical toolkit so you can verify claims yourself.
Let's open the digital chapter. Nisa, take us to the origin of the viral claim.
We first saw the claim on social video platforms, a short clip that overlays images of Angkor with a caption saying the monuments were built by non-Khmer peoples centuries later. Our monitoring shows the earliest public repost we could reliably trace appeared 6 days ago on a widely shared account. The post quickly propagated across TikTok, Facebook, and several closed groups, amplified by a handful of verified influencers. The numbers matter. Within 48 hours, it passed 200,000 views and hundreds of shares. Here's how we traced it. We used reverse search on the video frames, checked upload timestamps, and mapped the repost chain. We cross-referenced the earliest public posts and archived copies. When a post is removed, our snapshot shows the caption and thumbnails that were visible at first. The screenshots don't lie. When properly archived, they show context, date, and account metadata.
For listeners who want to follow along, we've archived the key posts and included permanent links in the show notes. We use trusted archives so the record stays available even if platforms delete content.
Now, a quick how-to. If you see a viral claim, first, screenshot the post and the account profile. Second, capture the page URL and timestamp. Third, save a video file when possible. Most browsers let you download. Fourth, upload the files to an archival service like the Internet Archive or our curated repository, and note the archived URL. Finally, avoid sharing inflammatory comments publicly. Document and report responsibly.
That digital trace is vital, but it's only one half of the story. The stones, inscriptions, and stratigraphy at Angkor are primary evidence we can read directly. Let's move from the screen to the field. What does the archaeology tell us?
First, inscriptions. Angkorian inscriptions are not decorative notes. They are dated records carved into stone, often with names, religious dedications, and dates tied to known reigns. Epigraphers have catalogued hundreds of inscriptions in Old Khmer and Sanskrit. These inscriptions reference Khmer rulers, construction sponsors, and temple consecrations across the Angkorian period. Second, stratigraphy and construction phases. Archaeologists document the layers beneath, the mortar, the masonry techniques, and the sequence of additions. At Angkor, phases of construction correspond to known historical periods. The material record lines up with the chronology told by inscriptions and regional history. That continuity is what gives the archaeological case strength. Third, international scholarship and UNESCO documentation. UNESCO and multiple peer-reviewed studies describe Angkor's development across centuries under Khmer political and religious institutions. When you read the excavation reports, radiocarbon dates, and epigraphic analyses together, a consistent story emerges. Khmer architects and communities built these monuments across generations.
To be specific, radiocarbon samples from associated organic layers and dating of ceramic typologies align with inscriptional dates for major construction phases. We list those references in the show notes: peer-reviewed articles, museum catalogs, and UNESCO reports. We verified each citation before inclusion.
We invited an archaeologist who works directly with Khmer material to synthesize this evidence in plain language. Dr. Shrey Dara, thank you for joining us. Can you give our listeners the core material reasons that Angkor's monuments are attributed to Khmer builders?
Inscriptions name Khmer kings and donors who ordered temples. The names match the glyphs used in other contemporary records. The construction techniques, the use of laterite foundations, sandstone carving styles, and specific mortar recipes are consistent with Khmer workshop traditions. Importantly, we see a continuous cultural transmission: artistic motifs, religious rites, and land management systems tied to Khmer polities. When combined, these lines of evidence point to Khmer builders and communities creating Angkor over many centuries. I also want listeners to know that archaeology is not a single proof, it is convergent evidence. Epigraphy, stratigraphy, material analysis, and local oral histories, these converge. That convergence is what matters most.
Thank you, Dr. Dara. That convergence is critical. On the digital side, we also see patterns in how reattribution narratives spread. Certain visuals and short captions make complex historical processes seem simple and sensational. Alex Chen is here next to explain how to preserve claims responsibly and cite them so researchers can follow your work. Alex, welcome.
Thanks, Nisa. The first rule: preserve context. When archiving a post, capture the entire page: the account name, profile picture, post text, time, and any visible comments. Use at least 2 archival methods: one public archive like the Internet Archive's Save Page Now, and a personal copy in a secure cloud or an institutional repository if available. For citation, record the archived URL, the original URL, the date you archived it, and any notes about deletions or edits. This allows any researcher to retrace your steps rather than rely on a single screenshot. One more thing. When presenting archived material, avoid inflammatory language that targets broad groups. Critique claims and sources, not people. That maintains credibility and reduces unnecessary backlash against community members or interviewees.
That ethical framing matters. We sought an on-the-ground voice to remind us what this heritage means locally. We recorded a short, consented comment from a temple guardian who asked to remain anonymous. We offered to anonymize and compensate for their time. Here is their voice.
The stones speak for our grandparents. When I trace the letters with my fingers, I feel the hands that made them. It is painful when others say these stones belong to someone else. We want the truth to be told, quietly, respectfully, so the children who come here know who built this place.
Hearing that anchors the technical parts in human reality. We now want to step back and look at the pattern. Why do reattribution narratives recur, and how can you spot coordinated tactics? Patterns we track include repeated use of identical captions across accounts, the same clips reshared with slight edits, and clusters of accounts that amplify the claim within a short window. Sometimes automated accounts or paid promotion boost reach. The pattern is clear when you map repost chains and see identical phrasing and timing.
Put simply, sensational claims travel fast because they simplify complexity and trigger emotion. Our job is to slow the conversation down, present the evidence, and show how the material record and peer-reviewed work contradict the simple story being shared.
Okay, toolkit time. 5 practical verification steps you can use and share. 1. Screenshot and archive the original post. 2. Record the account metadata and timestamp. 3. Run a reverse image or reverse video frame search to check for reused footage. 4. Consult primary source repositories like UNESCO, published excavation reports, or university archives. 5. When you respond online, cite your sources and avoid inflammatory claims. We'll demonstrate hashtag 3 and hashtag 4 using the sample post in our show notes. For example, we took a frame from the viral video and ran it through reverse image search. It matched a labeled photograph in a 1998 archaeological report, a photo taken during a documented conservation project. That connection undermines the claim that the clip is evidence of later non-Khmer construction. We provide the citation and the archived matches in the notes.
If you plan to submit evidence to researchers or journalists, include your archived links, a brief methodology of how you collected the material, and any contextual notes. For example, whether a post was taken down before you archived it. That transparency lets others verify your work and reduces disputes about authenticity.
We know there are real risks in publishing this episode: legal or political pushback, online harassment of people we speak with, and the possibility that platforms remove important evidence. We followed the mitigations. We cite only public scholarship, we anonymized the Temple Guardian with consent, and we archived all digital evidence in stable repositories. We also avoided language that critiques whole communities. We critique claims and the evidence, not people.
And for listeners worried about safety, if you find content that requires attention, document and report it to platform moderation teams, and consider sharing archived links with trusted researchers or NGOs rather than amplifying the harmful post directly.
One final note from the archaeological perspective: defending heritage is not only about countering false claims, it is about preserving sites, training local scholars, and making research accessible to Cambodian students and communities. When people have access to primary sources and education, misinformation loses its foothold.
We've created a curated resource page with archived screenshots, primary source citations, and a short guide for teachers and students. The show notes include links to UNESCO reports, excavation summaries, and the archived posts we referenced. Use them, share them, and teach the next generation how to verify claims with respect.
If you want to help, 1. Download and save the show notes for your classroom or community group. 2. Report hate speech when you see it. 3. Send us tips or archived posts. We will review them and, when appropriate, include them in future episodes.
To close, the stones remember. Angkor's inscriptions, the material record, and the scholarship all point to a continuous Khmer presence and craftsmanship. When a viral clip tries to shorten that history into a headline, we respond with documentation, archives, and respectful scholarship. The truth is on our side.
We'll keep monitoring and archiving. If you have a claim you want us to trace, send it with your archived links and notes. We verify, we document, and we share the facts, without fueling anger or spreading unverified accusations.
Thank you for listening to NSP Plus TV. If this episode helped you, subscribe to the show, save the show notes, and share this episode with friends who care about Khmer heritage. The facts are clear. The evidence is undeniable. Stand with Cambodia.